Hi, Kamesh. Good evening. Hi, Asif. So, at 6, we will start the session.
Good evening, sir. Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, tell me, Kamesh.
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I just said good evening.
Hello, sir. Hello.
I can't hear your voice, Kamesh. So, maybe we'll discuss once the session is over. You can also, meanwhile, share your queries in the chat. I can reply you. Okay, wait for 5 more minutes. Let me first drop a message in group.
So, why the participants are becoming less day by day?
Yeah, the reason that happens in every batch.
Starting,
It will be very high for Selenium. Once Selenium Java is completed, the count will reduce. That obviously happens.
so
Actually, we completed what is very important for getting job right. Just to do 3 more topics pending. After that, this Python and web service and all, it's an additional topic only. So it happens.
it happens in every batch, in
Every
every
batch.
institute, in every batch.
Yeah, obviously, in every batch. Actually, in this batch, so many attendants for manual testing, actually.
Starting batch is when it started Selenium, it was 10 to 12 participants in Zoom meeting.
Yeah,
Now only 2-3 is max to max. That's
almost 30 of them in the group.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
So manual is too important. We know that Selenium is important because it is demand in the market, but manual is also important, sir.
Actually, most of them in the group are all in the manual testing.
Okay.
Them automation is important.
Okay.
Okay, let's wait for a few more minutes.
Okay, sir. So you start, so they will come in the middle.
Okay, it's 6. Let's begin the session. Good evening, both YouTube and Zoom team. Let's, Asif, Vaibhavi, Aditya, and rest of them in online who's watching from YouTube. Good evening, and also Kamesh. Good evening. So let's begin the session. So in previous class, what happened while teaching about the defect lifecycle, when we use Microsoft that writing board, it created a restart. It is something like this one. This is that app. Actually, I forgot that app also. When we use that app, automatically it is getting restarted. This is also a sort of a defect. We had a fun about that because it is a very strange actually with Zoom open. When I try to write something, it's getting restarted, especially while using one specific functionality. Twice it happened. That's why we restarted. We are unable to proceed further on last week. Still, that one important topic, that defect lifecycle, is pending. Today, I will start with the agile because defect means, again, either it's an agile or any model. Defect will come into the picture. Tomorrow, we are starting with the Jira. So first, I will teach about the defect cycle and then move on to the Jira. So both of them, because in Jira also we will raise a defect. So both topics will be together. That's the main reason I'm not starting with the defect cycle now. Let's begin the agile methodology. Okay, fine. First, let's try to understand why we need agile methodology when we have these many mechanisms. So there are some parameters we have discussed. So many software development lifecycle. It is having its own advantages and disadvantages. For example, what we discussed, waterfall model, then V model, then iterative model, spiral, then spiral. Then now today agile. So why in that some of the very important parameters, like if we consider what is frequency changes. So frequency changes, change in the requirement is something every client wants to do it. Three parameters are very, very important. Then early testing. I'm talking in terms of organization for the profit. So how early you test, we can save a lot of money. If we can able to do the changes in the applications, then we are going to have retain the customer and also fulfill the users expectation. And another most important one is working software, seeing the working software, or seeing the working software early or frequently. So if you compare this, I hope you all remember a little bit about each module. In waterfall module, we understood one thing. Everything waterfall means how it will be. It will be like this. This is a waterfall mode. Until we complete one, we can't go other things. And testing will start later part. So it means what? At the end only, once all the things are completed, all the phases are completed, here only we will go for the production. So this is what the waterfall model says it. So whether frequent changes are allowed? No. Early testing? No. Working product? Definitely no. So we understood. Then it has its own drawback. From here itself you can understand. Then what every organization decided, they found like, okay, testing is very, very important. QA and dev. So both of them are equally important. They brought the concept of V model, because how early you test, that's going to save a lot of money. Early testing. Every phase we have equivalent testing, but frequency, frequent, not frequency, frequent changes, whether it is allowed? No, it is not allowed. Of course, we will see a product after couple of months, no doubt on that. Iterative, you know very well how the iterative will be the like every requirement they do it like it's a sort of an agile methodology, old way. They try to do it bit by bit. The reason they brought iterative is for allowing the frequent changes. That's the main reasons. But whether the testing started in early stage means, again in the iterating model also, it is not followed that way. If you have a doubt, we have the slides. Let's go and see that once. This one. See, planning, requirement, analyze, design, testing. And we are trying to do this bit by bit. Again, the testing is also happening parallelly. Yes, frequent changes allow, but what is the problem? Whether you are starting with the early stage, initial planning, there is no testing teams are involved. If you see here, testing comes quite later only. So not early testing. In the requirement and all, we are not a part of it. And we can see the working product in the early stage. After everything is completed, then only we will see the final implementation. Then what else we have? Spiral model. Here, we are doing the early testing. We are also allowed for frequent changes. But what about the product is delivered? It is after a long time. Production comes very long time. This is based on the improvement of the previous iterative model. So frequent changes allowed, early testing are allowed, and seeing the working software in the frequently, that is every once in a month, means it is not allowed in any of this model. So it's very straightforward, like whatever we are going to test it, you have to wait for a couple of months to see the working product. And you know very well, after when we see, understand whether the requirement is right or wrong, as is it as per the expectation. So this is a very quite a common problem everywhere. In addition to that, there are so many problems we have it as a team. For example, you will be working on something, your manager will be asking you to do something, your lead will be asking you to do something. You have to do the WBT courses, e-learnings, you have to do the documentation. So these are all some external disturbance will happen when you work in any team. There is a manual testing or automation testing. Apart from your work, you have to do extra work only, additional things. So this is a problem for as any team member. And client, they take it for granted. Since they pay money, they comes and disturb you again and again. So a lot of pros and cons were there. So from that, what happened? The developers across the globe, like 16 members or someplace. I don't remember the count. They just had one town hall. They discussed about the good and bad about every pain point of the development, importance of the testing, everything. And finally, they came up with the agile concept. So in the agile concept, the main motive of that agile is I want to see the working product as early as possible. It means what? Between 2 to 4 weeks, the iteration will finish. That sprint will finish. So maximum in a month, you will see your working product. So it means what? We can able to competitive with the organization, other organization or other vendors. Early testing, it is possible. Everything is possible. So that's why Agile became like a very famous one. I still remember like 2012, I attended one training session in TCS. At that time, we were saying like this is and all will never come to India. But even though it was very interesting to know about Agile, like 2012, 13, you won't believe 15 itself, it came into India. And trust me, if you are going to work in any Euro project or like UK, Europe related to any country, all the projects are purely work based on the agile. Say they blindly believe agile is the one of the best model. But long projects which works based on the V model or waterfall model, mostly it will be like US and the Canada, rest of the projects. They are also now trying to move to the agile methodology, at least to some extent. Because when you go to the agile methodology only, we have some word called CID, CI/CD, continuous integration, deployment. So again, DevOps will comes into the picture. We have already discussed about this during the Jenkins class. So in order to achieve this, first of all, we have to achieve the agile. So now you all understood what is the importance of learning this session. You join any IT company, any project, manual, automation, developer support, you will be getting the agile training for sure. Maybe now almost most of the company moved to agile. If not maximum in 2 to 3 years, everyone will forcefully to work in agile project. No doubt on that. Okay, let's what is that agile? Let's go and learn it. It's very easy, to be frank. Very interesting methodology to work. I really love to work in agile team. Let's see, I'll share my experience. So first of all, what is agile methodology? Let's go as per the definitions. It is again a software development methodology to build software incrementally using a short iteration of 1 to 4 weeks, mostly maximum 3 weeks, max. They say 1 to 4, but in real time, maximum 3 weeks, minimum 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you can able to see the working product so that the development is aligned with the changing business needs. Actually, this is the main reason, because every project, every methodology, the clients will come and say, change this, change that, you would have done half of the work. So this is actually something hectic, or what I say, one of the irritating things for the organization, between the organization and the clients. So how we are going to solve this problem? Only that this agile methodology came, where we are welcoming the changing business needs with happiness. Usually we will have a fighting, we will have an argument. So many things happens. Managers used to argue with the product guys. But now this agile itself, we are accepting, okay, anything, we are ready for the business needs, any change happens. So in the agile itself, again, it's a methodology. Remember, it's a methodology. It is having so many things. If you consider agile as an umbrella, so many different, I can say framework, so many things are there, like Scrum, we have, then Lean, Kanban, extreme programming, so many things are there. But to my knowledge, Scrum is very highly used methodology, highly used framework in most of the organization. And Kanban is also Kanban and safe. Next good one, Scrum. If you know, if you tell you worked in a Scrum team, means that is going to add a very high weightage to your resume, no doubt on it. Agile, definitely interview questions will be from Agile. Actually, even if you say you don't know, you should have some idea about that theoretically. So let's see what is Scrum. So before that, what we do in rest of the methodology is, first we will go for the requirement analysis. Once we done, either let's put V model, you do a requirement analysis, then based on this test plan, everything we will do it. Then we will come for a design. You're designing the product, test case development, both by dev and the testing team. And then what will happen? Coding will happen. Then after coding, it will go for a unit testing. Unit testing means, so this is going to be done by the dev team in different environment. Like they will have environment 1, 2, 3, so on. So they try to deploy their code, and finally it will come to QA side, where we have like system integration testing, user acceptance testing, so on. We have a lot of testing in this side, and pre-production, that is nothing but UAT, and finally we'll go for live. So this is what happens in every organization, and this will be at least like 4 to 5 months of time. We will work here on like 50 requirements, just example. So this is a process in most of, not most, all the software development, this is what we will do it. But here we are just tweaking this model into a small team, like maybe around like 6 to 9 members, just 6 to 9 members maximum, not more than 9 members. So you're forming a small team, like 2 developer, 1 tester, 1 architect, 1 database administrator, 1 front end designer. Like this, you're trying to create a small team. And what they are going to do is, they are not going to work on 50 requirement. This 50 requirement, one guy is a product owner, will come and say, okay guys, I have this requirement. First they will come with 5 requirement. We will go for a discussion. So we will take, okay, for that 3 to 4 weeks of time, we will work only on those 3 requirement. That's it. I'm putting all in simple words, then I will convert to the Agile. After 3 requirement is done, the good part is like after 4th week, we will go for the demo. It means what? We are going to showcase to the client regarding the requirement, and they are fine, means we will go for the production. Okay, this is the final product. It means what? The live product can be viewed. Like production means everyone around the globe can view the entire application. So that is the greatest thing. So the same process again, one more time, few requirements. So if you want to work on 50 requirement means, but I have like 100 members, QA team member, means what they will do, they try to have multiple Scrum team. So one Scrum team, another Scrum team. So every Scrum team will work on 3 requirement, 4 requirement. So this is again a sort of V model or waterfall model replacement, because here we are working on the requirement and also able to see the demo as early as possible. So that makes a sense. Actually, it created a very big impact in the industry. Now, whatever I said, that I'm going to convert that to the Agile terminology. And very important, tomorrow session, Jira, it's a test management tool. You must have at least one test management tool, either ALM or Jira in your resume. Jira, if you know it, this Jira is purely designed based on the Agile process. So after attending today's session, tomorrow, if you see Jira, it is going to be easier. So attend well, because same example, I will be quoting it in the Jira. This Jira specially designed for agile methodology. ALM, of course, HP product, you have to pay for it. We have very less documentation outside. Go with the Jira for interviews, because anyhow they are going to ask questions from agile. You can tell, like in your resume, like we worked in agile, and Jira means it's easy to clear most of the interview questions. Okay, we have so many frameworks. In that, I'm going to pick the Scrum. Scrum is quite famous. Scrum is a framework within which people can address complex adaptive problems while productively and creatively delivering the products of the highest possible values. That is nothing but you're taking some most important high priority requirement, you're developing it and trying to give best quality to that and trying to give the demo to the product. So now how this framework is designed, just an overview I will tell you, then we will pitch into every topic one by one. So now here every project will have their own vision, of course, either it's waterfall or maybe model, agile, whatever. Agile, you can take it for agile, or maybe Scrum is also fine. Here we have something called big requirements. In normal project, we will say requirements. Here it is called as user stories. See, the requirement is equivalent to user story. So when someone say user story, don't get confused. Nothing but it is a requirement, but in a different format. We will see that. And what is an epic means? You have some complex one big requirement. See, requirement means user story. You have something like a big requirement. They will split into small one. For example, you can say like create a register account. I mean, if it means what, first of all, first you have to create a home page, then you have to create the register account page, database validations are there. It is a very complex one. It can't be created like that. So that requirement itself, they are splitting into small user story. So epic means some big requirement. You're splitting that into small user story. Again, user story going forward, I will tell user story. User story means nothing but the requirement. Okay. Of course, they will have a release plan when iteration should start, sprint. In simple, I'll go, the word can say sprint should start, sprint should end, everything if they will have the plan. In the day one, before we start the sprint, what will happen? There are few more guys are here. Product owner. Who is the product owner? This person is from the customer or client point of contact. So the person is like, for example, if I work for, okay, Amex, let's take Amex is the company and it is outsourcing the project to the Cognizant. So I am a product owner means I am fully responsible. I'll go to the Amex, will talk to every business analyst and their requirement, understand the requirement, and will come up with all the details and will talk with the Cognizant or whichever the company with me. I will explain them all the requirement, nothing but the user story. So product owner from the customer side, the point of view. So any doubt we have, we will approach the customer, approach the product owner. Scrum Master. This is equivalent to manager. Of course, we must have Scrum Master certification. So this person have its own role. The Scrum Master is responsible of running the entire project. Of course, in normal project, it's going to be a manager. So that's the equivalent one. And a Scrum team. Scrum team means testers, developers, database team, architect, everyone. But remember, maximum like 6 to 9 members, not more than that. It's strictly not allowed more than 10 members. And stakeholders means this the person's customer guys, the clients who going to pay for this project. So these are all the members associated in this project. So in the sprint planning, the product owner will come and explain all the requirement. Okay, this is the requirement you do for the registration, search, something will come. Now the team member will, okay, fine, this will, if we have a doubt, we will ask to the product owner. From that, we will pick maybe like 10 user story, 10 requirement if they say. Based on the team, we will take like 4 user story. Okay, everything is decided. Now we will start the sprint. What will happen? Every day, daily morning, we will have a meeting. We will discuss on everything is going properly or not. And the same process will be carried out for user story 1, 2, 3. Once it is done, then we will go for the sprint review. Nothing but we will give the demo to the client. If it is successful, that will go to the production. If not, we will work on that user story again with more clarity. After that, this is very, very important. Sprint retro. Everyone will expect you to explain about this in an interview. That is, once you are completing the project, here we will discuss what went good, what went bad, like that. So again, these are all the important terminologies. And we will track whether we are progressing or not. That is a burnt on chart, burnt up chart. So many things are there. So this is an overview how the Scrum framework will work. Now let's see one by one in depth. So first, Scrum role. The Scrum team consists of 3 roles: Scrum Master, Product Owner, Team. Scrum team. Scrum team means it consists of both the team, both dev, everyone. So who is the Scrum Master? First question. The Scrum Master is the keeper of the Scrum process. He or she is responsible for making the process run smoothly, remove obstacles that impact the productivity, organizing and facilitating the critical meeting. So first, making the process to run smoothly. It means just think about it. Usually what will happen? Dev team, QA team. So QA manager will be there, dev manager will be there. So they will interact and they coordinate their own team members. The problem is dev manager don't have an idea about QA manager definitely will not have any idea about technical stuff. So but now what is the problem is the Scrum Master is going to coordinate every person. So the person should have a good idea about what is development, what is testing, what is automation, what is architecture of the thing, everything the person should aware of it and make sure every team members work smoothly. Because what if I give more importance to a development team? Testers will get pissed off, right? It happens naturally, most of the cases. If I give so importance to tester, not giving importance to development, productivity, then they will get pissed off. So I have to make sure everyone's are happy, everyone's are not overburdened. I should not keep pushing them, hey man, do this, do this. I should know what is my team capability. Okay, this many members know, I should give 4 user story, 3 user story. I should first of all able to listen. Just remember, if you're a manager in a V model or waterfall model, what will be the attitude of them? Hey, you have to do this simple way, right? But that will never work out in Agile. The Scrum Master should be able to listen to every feedback of the team. Team will tell everything in open to everyone. So it is not actually easy to run smoothly, but that's the main first role, that is making the process run smoothly. Should be able to understand about the team properly, assign the work, make things done, and then removing the obstacles that impact productivity. Now you're going to work as a separate team. I already said, no, if you worked in any big project, so many obstacles we will face it. some other team will come and ask this thing. They will ask additional learnings. They will ask, can you come for a training? Mandatory trainings are there. E-learnings completed, do the certification. Other than your work, you will do additional things only. And other leads will come. Sometimes manager will give some work. So here, it is the main reason of Agile itself, less documentation. Less documentation. To be frank, I will say minimum documentation rather than wasting creating the test script, test scenarios with all the screenshot. I don't want to waste time on this. But if you consider all the service-based company, like any TCS, Cognizant, big companies, all service-based company, for them, documentation is very important because they go for an audit with this only. They will say they have the best companies, best projects. But this Agile is exactly contradict to that. Don't waste time on this documentation. So the Scrum Master should be able to coordinate. The Scrum Master going to be the midpoint between the team and the organization. That is how my team is working effectively. If any training comes, whether it is possible to make my team to work, not everyone, maybe one or two I can give. So such things, remove all the obstacles. For example, TDM team, test data management team, we have it. Then we have support team. I need something is not working, DB team. Usually we will go and fight with them, we will drop a mail, wait for a reply. So many things will happen, no? But Scrum Master will try to find that obstacle, directly go and talk to them and make things done. Just imagine you going to ask something, your lead going to ask something, your manager going to ask something. What will be the response rate from this team? Obviously, if a manager goes and asks, definitely they will reply. So that's concept only. When Scrum Master, mostly like 6-8 years of an experience with high, they will have a very good designation. So when they enter directly into these types of obstacles, that it's very easy to make it up. Organizing, facilitating critical meetings. That is what all these meetings, that is Scrum, the sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, retro. These are all the main things. All it will be done by the Scrum Master. So who is the hero? Can't say hero or heroine, but still, who is the primary person from the company or from the project point of view is Scrum Master. Remember like this. Now, I hope you all got some idea about Scrum Master. You can almost correlate with the manager. To be frank, Scrum Master will be more intelligent than a normal manager. No doubt on it. I have seen that also. Now, product owner. Who is the product owner? Just now I said, right? The person responsible for maximizing the value of a product and work for the team. Solo person responsible, that is from the customer point of view. The customers will tell directly, customer will never come to the team and talk. They appointed a person, product owner. So the customers will, based on the surveys, based on something, they based on the customer feedback, they will share to product owner. Okay, this is how the outside customers needed. So now the client will share everything to the product owner. Means we may have 50 requirement. As I already said, all the 50 are, is it important now? Based on the present situation, which is having higher value. That is what maximizing the value of the product. Maybe the person will understand, okay, instead of which is the top best, maybe the person will come with 10 requirement. 10 requirement means user story and work for the team. So first of all, another biggest problem in any framework, any methodology is understanding the requirement. Actually, client itself will sometimes take us in a different direction. That will happen in many times. Still, we company can't fight with the client because they are paying for it, right? So we have to accept it. So such type of things we can avoid maximum. So they have allocated a member. The member is that is product owner, purely responsible for taking care of product backlog. Backlog means you have set of all the user story or requirement. You can take it in any way. Product backlog. Only person will update. So in maybe next iteration, suddenly the remaining 40 is there, right? Suddenly some changes happen. So from maybe two more new requirement added based on the market changes mean instead of working on this remaining 40, this two will come into the picture at early stage. So it means what? One simple example I can tell you. If you have seen like 2 to 3 years back, Facebook was changing their GUI front end like every 3 days, one weekly once. You have the app, suddenly you see there is trending here. Sometimes you will see the chat window. Then the next week, if you see, we have disabling all the chat window. After next week, if you have seen, you can enable only for the specific person. How it is happening? Because everyone is giving the feedback. The Scrum team work on it, make it happen, and give it to the customers. That's the one of the main reason Facebook survived. I think it is Orkut. Even I don't remember spelling if you're good social media, if you remember this apps and all, or before our Facebook, Orkut was very famous. The reason why it got failed, they didn't understand the customer, not ready for the changes. What about Nokia? It got failure, right? What is the reason? They didn't understand the customer. We have to update ourselves to the existing trends of the customers, their expectation, and we should able to give it as early as possible. So there comes this agile process, a very, very important one. These are all real-time example where company failed at bigger level. So the the product owner is the person will analyze the requirement, come up with the best one. So that's the main work of a product owner. Now the team. Nothing but where we gonna work. Self-organizing and cross-functional, two important work. Actually, one of the biggest problem if you consider in testing is both of them troll each other. The development team will tell what is there in the testing. Yeah, they are doing copy pasting. Do you need a comment? That is not a big task. Anyone will do it. That's the way the project. Testing team will say even they don't know to code this login page, so many defects coming. What these guys are doing. So anything happens, we troll each other and put blame on other team. There is no doubt on it. We say like, man, defect is not working in our system. Are we going to deliver our system or your system? That's how testing team will troll the dev team. This is something happening in every organization, any project. But now what's happening is like cat and rat, you're keeping both QA and the dev team sitting together next to next means how it is going to be. So we have to first of all break that mindset that it is we are working for an organization. Our duty is to make this requirement as successful. So whatever you're going to give, I'm going to accept, I will test it. As a tester, whatever I say, a dev team should be able to, I can say other than dev team, the developer should be able to hear that and accordingly code it. This will happen. It's how it will self-organization. We should be able to self-organize our stuff. The team will do that. It is not like, man, I am manual tester. I will not do anything other than my work. You should not say like that. I have seen in the starting Scrum and all, we will first work on that. Starting like 2 to 3 days, QA team will not have that much work. Literally, this is the fact because dev team working on their development. Actually, we can help them to create the build process. If so, when we learn it, we can able to create such type of things. And at the end in sense, for example, from the dev environment to QA environment, SIT or UAT, whatever you can take. The code is deployed. Now who will do the testing? Development testing team only needs to do it, right? But what will happen, even a developer will sit with me and do it. So cross functional, if we teach the particular person this is how you have to test, means here there is no ego clash will happen. So that is a cross function. They teach others and they make to understand the process, help each other, and make a successful product delivery. So that means that team comprises of analysts, designers, developers, testers, as appropriate and as relevant to the project. Purely depends on the project, we will choose the respective team members. And again, what is the team size they are saying? 5 to 9 only, not no double digit. It should be of single digit only, including everyone. So that's the team we should able to format. Now, 3 things. Scrum Master we understood, product owner we understood, who are all in the team we understood. Let's go to some terminologies before we pitch into every important meetings. First, what is user story? It is an informal, general explanation of software feature written from perspective of end user or customer. So the requirement itself very clearly saying like everything for the user, for the customers we are doing it. So there is some format. What is that format? I will show in next slide. The main purpose of user story to articulate how a piece of work we will deliver to a particular value back to the customer. So everything is customer oriented. So 1 minute. Okay, let's see it parallel. This is an user story structure. As I want, so that with this keyword only, you have to write a requirement. You can't write a requirement as you wish. No, it has some format. One simple example. See here as a type of user, what you're going to perform so that what is the expected goal you're going to achieve. As a customer, I want to withdraw. See, as a customer, user, I want to, you're going to perform something, withdraw cash from ATM. So that what is an expected output? I don't have to wait in the line at bank so that my bank balance reduce this much like this. So this is one simplest example of user story. Okay. We have just Google it. You can find a lot of user stories in the net. That is again, you should know how to write the user story. This will it can't be learned in just few minutes. You have to read all the sample user story, understand the format, and randomly in your project, that is V model, waterfall model, you will have your requirement, right? Change that to the user story format. Then you will be pro in that. Definitely, if you say you worked in an Agile project or Scrum methodology, they will directly give you a requirement in the interview. Can you write an user story for this requirement? So we have to be careful on this. But again, this user story is written by the product owner and give it to us. The product owner will come and read this as a customer. So just now we saw, right, as a customer, you're going to do this, this, this. So when the product owner explain this, we QA team or dev team, or let's put Agile, the Scrum team will ask all the question. Who is the customer? Is there any requirement? Withdraw cash from ATM. Which ATM? Is there any specific, any cash limit? What is the expected? So we try to ask a lot of questions and get more clarity. Everything happens during the discussions. Okay. Now we understood what is an user story. Next one, epic. Epic is it's a large body of the work that can be broken down into small number of user story. I said in the starting, right? You may have a very big complex problem. The main reason of this Agile itself, we have to work in complex problem very easily. How can you make complex problem easily? Split that into small tasks. It happens, actually this is copied from real time scenario. If we have face any big problem, first we will analyze, then we will try to segregate. We'll split the problem into small. Then when we approach, it is going to be easier. Same thing, same ideology. They mentioned it for Epic. Don't give some complex things to anyone. The team should be able to understand the requirement crystal clear, and it should be easier, irrespective of complexity of coding and all. It is different, but the requirement everyone should be able to understand. Make as easy as possible into number of users, because initially it is like 3 to 4 months of development. Now you're making like 2 to 4 weeks. So within this week, within that 2 week, is it possible for a person to complete that particular user story? Then we have to think in that way. Who will think it in that way? The product owner. You no need to worry about it. But still, knowing it is good. So Scrum team, product owner, Scrum master, stakeholder, we are done. Epic, we are done. User stories, we are done. Okay. Now comes very famous interview question. Could you please tell the Scrum event? So these are all the Scrum events. By heart it and tell. If you already worked, you will tell without any by hearting. Even you no need of this training. But you don't have any exposure towards Agile or Scrum, you have to tell this. Very important. By chance, if you miss this answer, you didn't work in the Agile, because this is the one thing which is not in other model. Other model, requirement analysis, planning and all, it is there. Daily status meeting we will have, right? Evening we will have a daily status call, monthly status call, and once something is done, we will give the demo. Everything, it is already there. Actually, this is already there, but now different technology. But sprint retro is something which is available only in the Agile, specifically in the Scrum. It is like, you won't believe, I was sitting with the dev guy. What things went good, bad, or improvement. So there will be a board. They will give us some, what is that? Sticky notes. Just Google it. I will show that what a sticky note. I have to first of all write good. For example, I'll write, okay, for example, okay, Kamesh from development team helped me during the testing phase by testing it. I appreciate it. I can tell that. It will go and just put it into that note. First of all, the Scrum Master will just read every good things. Okay, appreciate it. This everyone will do. Bad is also will be done openly. I will say like maybe some, okay, Anand from the dev from the, okay, from the database team. I got this data quite later, so I struggled to do it. So I'll put that right into the sticky part. Now what the Scrum Master will do, will understand, will discuss there itself, so that when we go for the next sprint that is going to happen next day itself, this will not allow. It is a duty of a Scrum Master to talk to that, okay, Anand, what happened? What is an issue? Why it was so? Anand will tell, because of from maybe this tool was not available. I got late access. So Anand may come with a lot of things which is not known to others. So the Scrum Master will try to pitch in and make the understand. So good thing, bad thing, what we can improve. Everything, every team member will put here. You will get appreciation, and also something you are not up to that, they will directly put here. Sometimes it will create an ego clash, but again, when we work together, especially like in 2 to 3 days, we have our demo means this all ego will go, everyone will sit and work. It will happen naturally, irrespective of whether we like someone or not. So that is the one, something very special the Scrum is having. So when someone asks a question, Scrum event means never forget retro. Retro is the Agile, remember. Okay, let's try to explore one by one. It's a process can be viewed by means of sequence of events corresponding artifacts. It's a time boxed event. It means you can't go and sit for another funny thing will happen in V model or waterfall model. Simply like 2 to 3 hours, you will sit in a meeting, in meeting hall without having any use. You are a tester. Why you have to go and sit with the lead for some other discussion of development, which is not at all needed. But they will say all the team members come into that meeting room. Simply we will go and sit without any idea. Such type of things will never happen. Mostly if someone follow agile process following. That's why it is a time boxed. Everything it's time management. We'll see one by one. First, sprint. What is a sprint? If you see it as a diagram, where is that? Okay. The entire thing I'm calling it as a sprint. You're going to start something. So that's the sprint. So before that, before we start the sprint, till now, everyone clear, at least able to imagine what I am saying, how it will be when you work in an agile or Scrum project. All clear team. Please let me know, both Zoom and YouTube team. All good? Because it's purely slides, sort of boring. But still, I want to know, at least you should be able to understand, okay, this is how something will work. Okay, I got some messages. Thank you. Waiting for the reply from YouTube. Anyone from YouTube can reply. There will be a lag whenever I talk to them. Okay. 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 First, we will begin. I just take it for granted. You understood? Sprint. Yeah. Promos. Thank you for replying. Okay. The sprint. During a sprint, a working product increment is developed. That is, you have 50 requirement, right? We call that as a user story, right? So first we will work on 3. After that, we will add 3. After that, we will add 4. After that, we will add 5. After that, we will add 3. What is the meaning of this? It is incrementing, right? That is very increment is developed working product, because every once in a 3 weeks or 2 weeks, you're going to give a demo. This demo, you will have this one working. When you go for the next demo with this and this, you will combine it. So working product increment is developed during the sprint, and it usually 2 weeks to 1 month, 2 weeks to 4 weeks. But trust me, mostly they will try to complete it by 3 weeks. 1 month and all, again, this will fall under waterfall model or V model. Always we try to push it for 3 weeks of maximum. Sometimes what they do, they will have multiple Scrum team 1, team 2, team 3, like 2 weeks. 2 weeks, they will work on 2 user story, 3 user story. You have so many developers, testers. They try to come up with such plans also. That's also possible. That this duration remains constant for all the sprint of this project. Remember, okay, they fix it like 3 weeks means that is going to be for the entire release plan for this year. It's a fixed time. That is what I mentioned, time boxed event. So we know what is the demo date itself in the day 1. And now the sprint goal is an objective set for the sprint. Of course, any project you start, that should some objective. We will be able to complete all the requirement as per the customer point of view and closing all the defects, no defect or less defect, something, some confident words. We'll set the sprint goal. It provides the guidance to the team on why it is built being the increment it created during the sprint plan meeting. So of course, the objective everywhere you will have it. Mostly we will copy paste from one document to another document. Same thing will happen even Agile also. The scope of the sprint is clarified and renegotiated between, this is a very important, product owner and the team. As more about the requirement is clear. Actually, so many things we are going to do using during this sprint. But this is a main important thing. I'm saying it again, entire thing it is called as sprint. Sprint planning, daily meeting, it all happens in the sprint only. Remember that. But overall, what is an important one is we are working for a working product and going to make it as an incremental way. That's the first thing. And we as a team must have a goal to achieve it. And what is the third point? We make sure the requirement is clear between the product owner and the team. Three things. This is the three important things about an overall entire sprint process. So that is one event. Second event. So literally you before starting, tomorrow if you're going to start the sprint, you will have a sprint meeting today. Usually after demo, the sprint planning, if for example, if it is a scratch, it's fine. Already the sprint is happening or the existing Scrum project means today demo means after demo, they will continue with the sprint planning also for the next iterations. So this is like before starting the sprint. Some scrums have 4 week sprint, some have 2 weeks sprint. That's purely depends upon the organization. That's why for a safety, I put it as 3. Wherever I work, they made like 3 week sprint. But again, 1 month, if you put it, that becomes a normal project. You can't follow all the scrum process there. It depends on the scrum master and the company. It's not with our hand. Maybe that is a product based company working only for their product, not like a service based company. So for them, 4 weeks also a good one. Maybe the requirement is heavy. Every requirement is quite large. At that point, 4 week is fine. So it is not fixed one. Okay. Now let's go to the sprint planning. Sprint planning, what it focuses on 2 questions. What we are going to do with it. What needs to be, what needs to be and can be delivered in the sprint increment. How will the work needed for the execution of the sprint to be achieved? So very complicated. Let's put this way. So what literally happens in this meeting? Product owner will come, will sit and explain all the user story. Okay. All the user story will tell. For example, maybe they have 50 user story. From that, product owner already prepared some demo, may have like 7 user story. So this we have like 2 weeks of sprint. In that room, everyone will be there, like 3 dev guys, 2 QA team, everyone. When first they will take 1 user story, will explain whether everyone understood or not, everyone agree with that or not. So we'll go for the sprint planning. Okay, are we able, again, small, medium, complex, so many terminologies are there. I don't want to put into a lot of stuff in the same topic. Estimations will happen whether for example the dev team will say this is for me very simple, I can complete it in 4 hours, but there may be having for QA team lot of DB validation there. For them it is a medium, I will say I need like 8 hours. So this type of arguments will happen. Sprint planning, every things will happen. And finally, okay, the Scrum Master is there now. Scrum Master, what will do? Okay, fine. This is Scrum Master will listen to dev team, then QA team. Okay, we will go for one more time. Lot of games and all there. Poker game. So we will write small, medium, or sometimes in the mobile, we'll put 4 hours and show them some apps and all there. Everyone will put their number and give the explanation. Finally, okay, 6 hours, we will take it for this user story. Like that, what will happen? Try to the product owner maybe will start with second user story. We are not comfortable with that. Third user story. Okay. Fourth. Okay. Now, are we okay for based on the past estimation, past performance, we understood that team is able to complete like 3 to 4 user story. So already the scrum master will know what is the capability of the existing team members. So what the scrum master will do? Okay, now three user story is done, right? Let's go with the fourth one. Sometimes third user story itself a complex it will be. So now the going to another one, it is quite riskier. So the scrum master will not take it up. So sometimes what will happen, the product owner will explain other things which are relevant to that. From that, we can pick it up. So in simple, requirement analysis are done. So the scrum master, not the scrum master, the product owner going to tell everything about that. So the product backlog, the latest product increment. Okay, you're sitting for the next demo. Now the scrum master, the product owner will tell as per the latest thing. This is the change in the market. So this particular requirement which you already worked may change now. Now they will tell for that. Okay, fine. We will work on it. We will try to uh, improve it. That's the thing. So the project capacity of the team during the sprint, I said no, like 3 to 4 user story, everything. So it is like very important. Everyone accepted like this will be completed so that tomorrow you can't say, sir, I have a lot of work. I am unable to do it. That will not work in a sense because you already said I can able to complete this in 8 hours or it will take 2 days. Whatever, you are the person who accepted everything in front of all, so there is no going back. So you must have a very good idea about the application, the requirement, the technology, or the domain, whatever it is. So this is the inputs to this meeting. Product backlog, we already have a list of user stories and what is added newly. What is the team members? We already know maybe like velocity 12, 16, an average how many user stories the team can deliver. Past, how many members are there? Like 3 developers we have or 4 developers. Sometimes developers will be high. So what the Scrum Master will do? Try to push even one more user story because of course that's a thought process of a manager. Manager want to make sure to increase the productivity, so we'll push a little bit more. It will happen everywhere. But here, what is the difference between other project and the agile is in the waterfall V model and all, we can't argue against the manager, but here it won't. That's not done. Remember, if testing team and QA team are so synced, Scrum Master can't do anything against them if we have a very good understanding. After some months, definitely both will have a better understanding, QA and dev. So both will say no. Usually will give some signal. Don't take them. This is very high. So when everyone's saying in the team like only we can take it 12 points or 14 points, Scrum Master can't do anything. Okay, for Scrum Master, you say 4 user story means please make sure 4 is perfect. I don't want even one to miss it. That is the point. So here, this is what happens in the Scrum planning. To elaborate, how, whether first few more technologies are coming, understanding definition of them. What do you mean by that? Last topic. This is one simple example of definition of a 10. When you can tell a user story is successful, this is the definition of 10. Design reviewed, coding done, refactoring, standard format, checklist, everything is done, document is ready, testing means all this testing is done, defects all closed, UAT done, live on production servers. This is again after demo only we will go with. So when you tell definition of a done, when you are able to complete all these things, so this will be first discussed with the team members. Once client will say this is done means that means it will go for the production means everything needs to be successful. So that is what the first discussed in the sprint plan. So does the team have shared the understanding of definition of done? Are there any impediments the team can proactively work that can help the team achieve flow? Impediments means, is there any issue which is stopping it? If we have, you have to tell it. Maybe making it as a dev process, automated process. If we bring, it will be again proactively work on it. Help that team. Maybe we had this particular problem with the test data, or one of the application you are trying to access is a third party one. At that time it was not some other company, we are able to get that access properly. Anything you can tell. Does every member understand what needs to be done on their respective stories to meet the acceptance criteria? That is nothing but the definition of a done. As a tester, do you know everything? As a developer, do you know everything? What you are going to do? Simple. If you know that, good. Can team members agree to the work in a single user? This is very important. Remember, they will trickily ask you how your team worked on multiple user story or single user story at a time. Means mostly good Scrum Master will always push for single user story at a time. We will not. It means what? You have like 3 weeks sprint. Okay. You took 4 user story. If that's the case, let's have 3 developers, 2 QA. How this will go, right? 2 developer will work on 1 user story. 1 developer, maybe well experienced, will work on this. This is a one way. Once this is done, then only they will pick it from here. So try to complete maximum. Already you have only 2 dev, 1 QA means they will work on only 1 user story. It is not 2 developer means, okay, I will give one user story. Both of them work parallelly. This will not work out. As a team, as a QA, as a dev, as a database guy, we have to focus only on single story at a time. So in 3 weeks, usually first week you can't see any big productivity. This happens naturally. Second week you will complete first user story. Third week only it will happen like that. Remaining 2 user story or 3 user story. Like this will happen. So the Scrum Master will try to calculate and see the productivity. We have the burn down chart and all. We'll discuss on that one by one. So this is a one important point. Keep it in your mind. It is very easy to test someone really worked in Agile or not by asking this question indirectly. How about your team? How they work? Just tell one user story at a time. Are there any knowledge silos or gaps where a task can be done only by a person? Again, dependency creation. If so, does the team have a plan to share knowledge that everyone so that everyone can teamwork on it? For example, build process. Build process will be done in Maven tool. Of course, Gradle is there. This Maven tool is also known to QA automation team, development team. This build process, again, they will check in it, but we can also do the development team will start checking their code and their stuff, but the build process with the support team that we can even QA team can do it. Nothing wrong in it. Can able to do this automated process if you know Maven tool automations, those stuff we can able to do it. Again, the dev team must have an idea what you mean by regression testing, because at one point of time you have to test all the user stories. Regression testing needs to be done. So whether they know that, whether we are sharing knowledge from cross sessional training. So that is the one we have to consider in sprint planning. Have you put the most this action item from the last sprint in the month? Just now I said what is the retro, right? Good and bad. That bad thing, whether you have solved or are you going to solve in this sprint or not? That point. If it is done, then sprint planning going to be rocking, no doubt on it. I hope you all got a very good idea about sprint planning. It goes for at least 2 hours, no doubt on it. Minimum 2 hours it will go. because all the user stories needs to be discussed. A lot of arguments will happen, and you should tell if you are the automation testers. They say you do the in sprint automation. That is, during the sprint, you have to complete the automation. So how complex the application? First of all, you don't know what is an application means. Then you should be able to understand whether it's you're newly into the team. Just assume whether it's a window-based application, web-based application, Selenium will work, or we should go for UFT. What is the framework? We have the framework or not in the organization? Test data management. Like there's so many questions you should know it. Then only you can go and sit for sprint planning. Or else if you tell something, I can do this, that you're unable to complete me, then that's going to backfire you. So it's not that much easy to work in Agile. So that's about the sprint planning. But trust me, team, you will learn a lot in the Scrum process. Then comes the daily Scrum meeting. Meeting means it's going to be a mini. Simple topic. We will waste like 30 minutes, 1 hour. Some of the managers will talk a lot without any content. Sometimes fight will happen between two members, arguments will happen. I don't want to waste time on this. This is a first meeting I'm going to conduct. First meeting, day 9 o'clock. Everyone comes 9:10. We have the Scrum, daily Scrum. I should not say Scrum meeting. It is a daily Scrum. First thing, what about the daily Scrum is, that I mentioned it, 12 to 15 minutes. Maximum, I'm saying maximum 15. Actually, we have to complete like 12 minutes. More than that, it is not allowed to discuss. It is very fun, actually. It will be very fun. What we will do is 3 questions we have to answer it. Every person will sit. Every person, actually, we should not sit. Sorry, no one should be able to sit, because everyone should stand, tell, complete it. So what we do? What, for example, what you did yesterday? What will you do today? Is there any impediments? Just by heart this word. If you're not saying this word, you're not into the Agile project. If your resume is having this as a additional word. What you did yesterday. For example, I am the dev team. Yesterday, I have created a database system. Today, I'll be giving access to all the team members. Is there any impediments? No impediments. Okay. This is, I'm talking in terms of database administrator. If it is a development team, yesterday I have created a framework setup. And today I'll be starting coding on user story. This one. Is there any impediments? Yes. From the support team, I need some environment stuff. Okay. Now Scrum Master will note on that. Then let's move on to the QA team. What you did yesterday? Yesterday, I analyzed all the test scenarios. Test scenarios is ready. Today, I'll write the test script step by step. Is there any impediments? We are waiting from the development team to get the URL to start the testing. I'll put on day 1 because you are unable to start. Maybe today you won't say. Tomorrow, when you come, test plan, test scenario, everything is completed. We are waiting impediments. I'm giving an example of impediments. We are waiting from the dev team to get the URL to start the testing. Now what they do, they will give the local URL. Okay, local URL tested. Dev URL itself they will give. Rather than waiting, dev URL means it will be like a number 144 something dot dot. That only they are putting into a QA, right? Now you're saying, I'm already done with my work, QA team. I need URL to start testing in. That becomes a very important, right, in a meeting. So what the Scrum Master will do, just give that local URL so that today you will not be idle. You will start testing it. Once it is deployed, then also you can do it. In the unit testing, it's not done. Sometimes the dev team will do it within the developers, but only 2 developers means unit testing, they won't do that much effectively. So they will tell us, okay, try with all your scenarios. So this is what one simple impediments. Then automation team. Automation team, again here, we have something called N-1 sprint. It means already user stories are given of previous one, you have to work on it. So what you can tell, yes, the environment is there. Yesterday I completed this user story. Today I'll be working on this user story to development. Is there any improvement? I'm waiting for the test data from the manual testing team. If they give the test data, I will do it. Now the manual testing team note it down. So there itself, the Scrum Master will ask, is the data is ready? Then now I can't say no. So this is almost like a cornering and make things done very smoothly. And this is what, 3 questions. Remember, 3 questions. Yesterday, what you did. Today, what you're going to do. And any impediments. This word never forget. Impediments is something word stick to Agile or Scrum meeting. So, and so many games and all will happen. Sometimes have you seen that stress ball, yellow color? What the Scrum Master will do, will throw at one person. You have to catch that and you have to start the Scrum meeting. Then you will throw at another person. The another person will catch and will say. So like this type of fun and all it will be. It will be of love fun. And remember, Agile means it is 6 hours work, 2 hours meeting. 2 hours for meeting, 6 hours only work. So 8 hours give a good productivity work. That is what they need. 6 hours only work, not like 10, 12, nothing. That will not happen in Agile if you work in off on-site with the client. But if you work from the offshore, sometimes you have to sit and do like the waterfall model. But still remember 6-2. This is the ratio, 6 hours works, 2 hours meeting. So in that, this 15 meeting will 15 minutes go for the daily Scrum. Okay. What is the biggest benefits of daily Scrum meeting? Improve communication within the team. Very, because daily you're one day I will put a blame on in a very sarcastical way, or you put soft way to blame on database team. At that point, database person will directly interact with me and tell, see, this is what my problem. Now, as a QA tester, I don't know about initially, technically, when we are working in V model or waterfall model, we are working on it. But now we are seeing those guys, right? The person is saying we are waiting for the success. So I can able to understand at that other team members' point of view also. Okay, they are also having that problem. Same way, regression testing, they will think, but regression testing means you may have a lot of scenarios, a lot of different combinations of a data. Now you have to tell for this one user story, I have created 20 scenarios and almost like 4 to 5 defects are there. 5 defect needs to be retested. We need a data for that. So when you tell your things in front of all, the dev team, first of all, they does not know anything about testing. They will ask, okay, oh, so many things are there in the testing also. So that improves the communication to be and understand about each other. Identify impediments directly on day one, if any, order to facilitate early removal of the same. So minimize the impact on the sprint. So usually what will happen in normal project, if you go for waterfall V model, something like ALM or Jira access, you need access, login access. What will you do? You will put a mail, that mail will go to the lead, then it will go to that respective number, it will come, it will take 2 days sometimes, right? But here morning you will tell, I need database administrator, I need ALM access, means that person will be in front of you, will tell, okay, you will get it in just 30 minutes, you will get it in an hour. You will tell that first task, you will, because this is a big impediment. Without this, you are not going to access any application. That is done in a very quick way. That's such a great thing about daily Scrum meeting. And highlight and promote quick decision making. This is what the access issues very quickly in a 30 minutes. It will happen. Suppose we need any approval, then the Scrum Master will go and talk to others. It is not lead will go and put a mail to another team, wait for it. Nothing. Scrum Master will take care of it. Improves the team level of knowledge. Just now I said, right? Because the person will tell how the database, how many tables and all created. Okay, then only you'll understand, okay, for testing our data, these many tables are created. Dev team will tell, this is a platform we are doing, this jar files we are having an issue. So we'll try to impediments. So when you keep listening to this, voluntarily, likely, or without any interest, your knowledge will improve without doubt. So that's a benefit of daily Scrum, maximum of 15 minutes. Remember, 12 minutes you have to wind up. For example, there is an issue between the dev team having an issue that needs 1 hour discussion means now will note down by the Scrum Master. What Scrum Master will do, will not pick all the guys, just will take the dev team alone for the discussion, so that testing team will work on their work. So it is waste of time, right? Taking the testing team to discuss on some issues what they are facing. Actually, that will happen in normal other methodology. They will put some call simply how to sit in that bridge without understanding anything. That will never happen in Scrum. So that's on all additional information. They will have a separate meeting. That is why I said 6 plus 2. 2 hours specifically for the discussion. Keep that point in mind. Now we understood the Scrum meeting. Then we have something called Scrum board. In olden days, I'm talking like 2014, 15 and all, you will have sticky note, user story 1, user story, you will write it. What are all the tasks as a tester you are going to do it? So daily in the Scrum, you will tell, right, it is in progress. Some validation needs to be done. Something completed means, for example, test scenario. Okay. Usually every team will, testing team will take one color, pink will be taken by the dev team, something like that. So it's very easy to track it. So when you are saying I'm working on it, that sticky will be here. When you are saying some verification needs to be done by other, you will move that sticky note here. Once it is completed, you will move it to done. So this process will be carried out. I'll show you the, when we Google it, we'll get a lot of template. Scrum board. 1 minute. Scrum board. Images. This one small example. This one, see, some of them, yeah, this one is better. See, this is how we'll work. We will have a board, we will go and stick it, we will move on it, everyone will, during, actually it is not like at that time only you should move it. Sometimes you have completed means you in the like afternoon time you can come and move it, nothing wrong in it. These are all some examples. Actually, Scrum is not belongs to just IT, guys. This is product development, everything. It is having a very wide scope. Nowadays, this Scrum board, they have created a software where Jira is having. So that is what the topic mostly, I think we will learn next week only. I think I can't complete today this topic. But again, let's discuss more on this thing so that everyone understood the process well. So these are all the Scrum board. Okay. So Scrum board. Okay. Let me maximize it. Okay, Scrum board is done. Now sprint review. So this process again, it is done on daily basis. Remember, you started the project. You started the sprint. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Every day you will be doing this. Every day. Next day, what went yesterday? What you did yesterday? What you're going to do today? Is there any improvements? Keep saying it. At one point of time in your Scrum board, everything will be completed without any doubt. You have to complete it. Then you will go for the sprint review. This is nothing but demo to clients. This is the right time to make things done. Now, product owner, someone from the client, customers, they will join the meeting. Our team will be there. what will happen? We will first explain what is the user story one, and then you will show it. You will test it and show it. Actually, that will happen. Either every sprint, everyone will get the opportunity. Mostly, it will start with the dev team, then it will come to the testing team. How it is done. Actually, once it is done, what will happen? Client also will test from their level. I just give one real time example. It happened in one of the project. Actually, that ended in a very blunder thing. The Scrum Master, trust me, this is not to degrade or demotivate. The Scrum Master asked me a question, what do you mean by regression testing to me? It means what? The Scrum Master from the dev team does not know anything about regression. We went for the development, automation testing. Clearly said, automation testers can't be more effective like a QA tester. Manual testers know every things about them, but the Scrum Master does not listen to us because they didn't think like testing is not a big thing, can be manageable. But what happened is two QA member, one QA for automation, one for manual. This is like 3 years experience. It's not about experience, but still the person does not have a good knowledge about that domain. What happened in the demo, the client, you have a search box. The person just created like 5,000 words, copy pasted here and clicked on search. You know what happened? The system got crashed. The application got crashed. That's it. So you are going to pay. It means what? You will be paid only if you're going to give a product. For example, 3 user story means every payment is done on your productivity. If you are giving, if so, it means what? From the client point of view, they want to reject it. That is their point of view. They want to reject it. They want to find fault on you. So what they do, they will be definitely, the testers from the client point of view will be so good in that. What happened? They just crash the system. I think that was the first sprint or second sprint. Out of 3 user story, 2 user story got rejected. Only went for done. 1 user story went for done. It becomes a very big escalation. After that, what happened? They recruited like 6 years proper manual tester. Actually, after that, the project went very smoothly. But this created a very big impact. So this is all actually this is will be the main issue in most of the Scrum project. Your Scrum Master may not be from, may not know everything. So it's your duty to tell the importance of everything. If you're not going to tell, again, if 2 is rejected, the entire team going to face the issue. No doubt on it. So these are all one some real-time experience happened in when I was in the Scrum. So demo we will give it. Sometimes we will run the automation script. We have done the automation script also. We will show all the 3 user stories, positive testing, negative scenario, everything in the automated way. So they will get more impressed, and again they will test it. Sometimes when we put automation, they will not do manual testing in front of us. Maybe they know how to break a system, security testing, injecting a big data and trying to test whether the recovery scenario happened. Like that, they do it. Once, according to the definition of done, everything is good means they will give, okay, go. You can go for the production. So that is what happens in the sprint review. So let's check it here. Attendees include Scrum team, key stakeholders as invited by who is doing the sprint review. Product owners trying to invite as invited, very important. The product owner explains product backlog, how many requirements we have been completed during, what was not completed. So this is what that. So first the product owner will explain the requirement, followed by the team. What the team will tell, what went good, what went wrong, what is the impediments we faced, and how those problems are solved and made this to happen. Demonstrate the work that it has completed, answers the questions if any about the increment, any new things going down. So a lot of things will happen. So here it is. Okay, that is what the entire team discuss. Once this is done smoothly, all your user story accepted means no doubt. On that day, Scrum Master will give you a treat, take you somewhere. Usually every month, Scrum Master at least will take you to cafeteria and give you some treat if this goes smoothly. So this happens, and the entire group discuss on what to do next. The sprint review provides valuable input to sprint planning of the subsequent sprint. So next sprint we are going to start. That is what I said in the starting itself. We will work on the next sprint. Once the demo is done, demo will happen for maybe maximum 30 minutes, or I don't think more than that. Maybe maximum 1 hour. 3 user story means one user story. If everything goes smoothly, 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Once that is done, then the Scrum Master, the product owner will come up with the sprint review, sprint planning. It happens everything in that in that review itself. A review followed by the sprint planning. Then the sprint team then reviews the timeline, budget, potential capabilities. Sometimes what will happen after demo, the client will leave, the stakeholders. Only the product owner will sit, mostly because that is going to be next 1 or 2 hour, right? Mostly we will not. We do not be very comfortable to discuss with the clients on our estimations and other stuff. So after demo, they will give leave. Then we have to sit with the product owner. Same process. How many simple, medium, complex, or we have Fibonacci number, some games and all that I'll show you. We'll try to find that. Potential capability, market first, next anticipated releases, product increment, outcome of sprint reviews updated in product backlog, which defines the product backlog. That is again, based on this, all the respective updates will be done. Product owner will go and update the product backlog, and Scrum Master will be ready for the next sprint. Then comes the sprint retro. This is a separate event. Only Scrum team will be there. We even will not allow the product owner, where it is mentioned in the slide. No. Combining learnings from the last sprint with regards to people, relationship, process, and tools. All the good thing. That is what I said in a simple way. What went good, what we can improve. So we have to go and write it in a sticky note and put it there. You don't need to write the name. That is, if you're going to say this thing didn't give, they will go and put the Scrum Master will read everything. Scrum Master will manage it. First, Scrum Master will go and read the board. Okay, this one is look something important. Some arrangement will happen. We'll coordinate in a proper way. Directly will appreciate. Something not went good, directly ask the issue. Then create the plan for implementing the improvements to increase the product quality. So that next time this problem we can solve it. Identify the major items that went well and the potential improvements. So went well only I said good. Went well is the right word. What went well? What can we improve? Keep this one in mind. So very important, without retro, you can't say you worked in a Scrum. Retro is something which is something newly added, which is not available in the previous software development model. Okay. This is what we have discussed till now. Product owner, product backlog, we have it. From that, user stories will come. Sprint planning will happen. Team select, start at top as much as commit. So team will decide what to start. And if you take, then sprint backlog will take important user stories from here. 1 to 4 weeks. For every day, we have a daily Scrum. It will be conducted by Scrum Master. On daily basis, burn down chart, burned up chart will be updated. Once it is completed, like after maybe 3rd week, 4th week, we'll go for a review. It is finished. After this, we will move to retro. We will understand. Then we will come back to here, sprint plan. Same process will happen henceforth. This is again another view of the Scrum frame. Okay, fine. I think I can complete it today. Maybe I can take additional 15 minutes if I want, so that in one video you will have everything about Agile. Okay, artifacts. Initially we saw events. Events means 5 events. Remember that. This one is artifacts. So what are all the things you are going to get? Product backlog, sprint backlog, burn down chart. So you will discuss. So product owner come with some arranged way best user story. From there you take sprint backlog from 50 to it will be 3. Then incrementing. Then burn down chart means you have a chart. We can be able to see whether it is again we have this process in the normal methodology like V and waterfall model, but that depends on the day wise. This is again day wise versus user story. Are we able to complete our task as we promised? That we can do burn down chart. Initially, we will draw it in the board, but nowadays we have a Jira. Jira will take care of all these stuff. Tomorrow we are going to see that. 1 minute. Product backlog. 1 minute. Explain backlog. Okay, we can complete it today. Okay. Before I start, all clear till now. Zoom team, good. Good. Yes. Thank you for the thumbs up. I got a text message. Okay, fine. Who will add user stories in the sprint? From the sprint, Scrum Master duty, actually, Anjaneyulu. Actually, from the sprint back, from the product backlog, we will decide the user story. And usually the Scrum Master should take care of all the tasks, but we will find some person who will go and create all the tasks. Actually, user story will be automatically in the Jira. So we will just pull that from the Epic and then we will add the task. I think you have to wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow, whatever I said today, I'll put that into Jira tool. You will get more clarity. It will be already available in that tool only. In Jira from the Epic, we have to pull it and pull the we have to pull that user story. Who will do that means, of course, Scrum Master will do it as per the flow, but in real time, the team members will do it. Product backlog. It is this product backlog is a prioritized list of all the functionality that we need in the product. Retro will never be manned. What is this question? Daily Scrum is daily meeting. Retro means what? You are facing retro means you're trying to analyze your past. So that will happen only once. So not daily basis, Scrum meeting will happen for 15 minutes. Retro will be for 1 or 2 hours once we complete the demo, sprint review. That's a separate meeting, no one will be there. Okay, I hope you all got clarity now. All good, right? Okay, it is a single source of truth of all the product requirement. The team is not supposed to work on anything that is not in the product log. In very simple, what work is given to you, work on it. Don't do some additional work. That is a simple way. For this requirement, develop it. For that requirement, test it. Don't try to come up with some no one is worried about it. That is what it is. Team is not supposed to work on anything that is not in the product backlog. So we have to stick to the requirement. That's it. Who will do this product backlog? Product owner. Whenever in any of the certification, if you go product word comes means we put it to product owner. Remember it. Okay. What all makes a product backlog? These are some examples. For example, features. It will have as a customer, I want to enhance the login capability to use the social media so that users can log in using Facebook, Twitter, Google account. One simple feature. Change request, something iteratively happening. As an IT supportive executive, I want a default sorting of support ticket to change from aging to priority so that the top priority tickets can be looked at first. Something adding to the existing ones. Change request means we are updating something else. Defect. This particular defect in Jira, so the customer account don't get locked on first invalid attempt. So some regarding all the details of the defect. Technical improvement. Java 11, we can upgrade it to 11. I think now you will understand why Java 11 is important. Not only for the testing team, dev team also 11 only is very important. That's why I pushed every Selenium guys to work on 11. We can utilize all the features that 11 offers. Proof of concept. Again, sometimes some demos we can show it to the dev. This is how it should be, some sample website. Some analyze the cloud features, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, to do a quick proof of concept to identify which cloud platform is best for. So can tell something to the team which is best for the development, keep the code, Jira tool, array. So something from the product owner, if they have an input. Then comes the sprint backlog. It is a set of product backlog items that we selected for the sprint. So product, you have maybe 50. From here, you are moving like 3 to 4. This is sprint that we selected for the sprint. It is also include a plan to deliver this item to meet the sprint goal. It is essentially contains everything that Scrum development team will work on it. User story, task means that we have to create in the sticky if it is in live, or else in the Jira we call this as issues. We will create many issues, any improvement areas of previous retro, everything will put it into the sprint backlog. So these are all the artifacts. Burn down chart. So this is important. 1 or 2 charts only there. So definitely there will be an interview question from the burn down chart. So the sprint backlog is highly visible and real-time picture of the development team works during. See, development team works only, they will project. We are also part of a dev team, in sense QA, during the current sprint. There are various tools available to track the process. One of the most common ways via sprint burn down chart. The common way to show the burn down chart on story points, 4 points, 8 points, something. Through some teams prefer to do in the hours. Mostly hours will do. How many days we have to complete this? This is one simple example. So we have taken maybe like 5 user story consists of 45 points. 10 days sprint. 10 days sprints mean 2 weeks. Saturday, Sunday not included. So first day we are starting. How we are proceeding? Are we in terms of hours? When you try to put it into the Jira tool, automatically it will calculate. So here you see ideal story point, actual story point. This one is the actual, sorry, expected, but actually what it is happening, it is not happening as planned. See, 35 we should be, but 40. There is some 5 gap. On 8th day, usually last, like that will happen. Last day, we made it like this, some changes happen. On 9th day only, we made it 0, 10. So day versus, usually some will go with story points, some will go with the what? Hours. How many hours we have it? It is depends on the project. In Jira and all, you no need to worry. You select x-axis, y-axis, automatically it will generate this sprint burn down chart. And another chart we have, mostly it is not in many blocks, that we call it as sprint burn up chart. So it is a tool used to track how much work has been completed, total amount of work for a project. So this will tell you an overview of entire multiple sprint, how many total versus how many completed. And it is used by multiple software engineering methods, and these charts are particularly popular in Agile and Scrum projects. The completed work and total work is shown in vertical axis, in which unit project team feels which are either in hours or days or story point. It's purely depends upon the team. So let me go. I can now it's self-explanatory. You can understand. So iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3. So what is in the backlog? How many was there? So how many we completed? How many available? How many we completed? In iteration 6, almost we came to 60. When we went, okay, 5. When we went for 6, 20 more requirements added. Now it total went to 120. Like this, we are at 8, 97, and 120. Maybe like 12, before 12, all it both will be like this. So this is a sprint plan. This gives an overview in iteration wise, sprint wise, sprint or iteration. So to actually here in the thing I mentioned only burn down chart, most of them will talk about Scrum. On that Scrum only they talk means what is doing in the product backlog by product owner, in the sprint what we have selected and doing it, and the progress of that particular sprint. But still burn up chart also you must know it. You no need to tell that as an artifact. If they ask specifically is there anything else, you can put burn up. But again, that gives an overview of entire process of the release. And we saw how to write the user story as a I1, so that. And user story acceptance criteria. When you can accept, like for example, we have chosen 4 user story, right? Every user story will have some acceptance criteria. You have to meet that. This is nothing but expected condition from the who will give this, from the product owner. So when the product owner explains the user story, parallelly will tell the acceptance criteria. You have to achieve this, then only I can consider this as a completed. Each user story also have acceptance criteria defined so that correctness of the implementation of the user story confirmed by passing the acceptance test that is based on the acceptance criteria. In simple word, UAT will be conducted. That's it, guys. UAT, user acceptance testing, from the customer point of view, that needs to be answered for that requirement. One simple example. Given the account is credit worth and the card is valid and the dispenser contains cash given. When the customer requests the cash, then what? Ensure it is debited, it is dispensed, and card is written in a mission. So this is an acceptance criteria for that first story. See, as a customer, they just, I don't want to wait in line something. But what is it? This acceptance criteria will give more answers to your understanding about the application for development and also for testing. So what they are saying, one simple example, given credit worthy, card is valid. So valid credit card details, invalid card, negative scenario, I can test it. And it should have cash balance. Cash balance in your account in mission. 2 scenarios. Person request the cash, invalid password, the pin code, passcode, and the valid passcode scenario. Ensure it is debited. So balance should be reduced. If there is no balance, error message, insufficient balance. If you put invalid number, account should be locked. And very important, either it is locked or returned, it should return the card. So just imagine in terms of customer, write up the, what to say, all the test scenarios, and you have testing technique, put those things into that and create the very effective scenarios and the test steps. So usually when as a testing team, when you say these many, oh, this guy is going to try with valid credit card, invalid credit card, and error message, when you share this to the development team will, okay, I have to go and add the exceptions for this. So they will work accordingly. So it is about how you understand. But to my knowledge, if as a tester, it is our responsibility to guide the team, because I'm saying it again, dev team or automation tester can't think it in negative way. Developer cannot think in negative way. That is always developer mindset is to make the script pass. What it is given, they will go and code that alone. But tester only able to think it as an user, come up with all the scenarios. When you share that scenarios, they will code it accordingly. During the sprint, if you have any doubt, you can ask with the product owner, no wrong. But remember one more point I forgot to tell. During sprint, no one will come and say, change the user story. That 3 weeks, 4 weeks, no, even though we are ready for the requirement change, requirement update, that will happen during the sprint planning. Not during you started some user story means no one will come and say, hey man, can you change this? That it will never happen. That is not allowed. So that 4 weeks, 3 weeks, no one will disturb. That's good for the team. Benefits with user story. It is again, the major benefits of user story lies in user-centric definition itself. This is because ultimately it is a user who will using the product and a relevant user scenario, it connects to the end user. So in simple word, everything we are considering as an user, right? As a user, what you are doing to do, what is unexpected. So the requirement itself, the user story itself is written from the customer point of view, from the user point of view. So now we will get more clarity for development and testing. The syntax of the user story itself, that is what clearly tell every captures all the details. And acceptance criteria also we have it. It is a value added advantage to the Scrum team to come up with a lot of scenarios. And it is possible to make changes to user story in the course of execution of the project. The scope of the becomes lost, it is necessary to split. For example, if you have a very big, large user story, you can split it. And the same thing, we can change the acceptance criteria. While when they explain that, you can split and make it multiple user story. Okay. This one will not come. During sprint, you can't do anything. Let me. If it is a big, you can split. Once sprint is started, you can't do anything. But you can change the user story or update it, but not during the execution of the project, remember. As a working product increments are delivered to the user at the end of the each sprint, the Scrum team can get feedback from the user in the sprint review meeting. Again, it means what you're giving a demo, then the customer will tell, okay, this is good, this is bad, maybe this, you're putting this logout in the bottom right, why can't you put it in the right top corner? Some feedback will be given. We will take that feedback and put it into the next user story and work accordingly. Now comes the definition of time. Based on this only, your user stories are accepted by the clients or stakeholders. Stakeholders is the right word. It is a checklist of work types that team is supposed to finish successfully before declaring the work to be potentially shippable, means move the code to the environment production. These work different number of variables. What are all? The nature of the product being developed, technologies used, organizing that is building the project, present obstacles that impact the possibility. Rather than saying this, if you see the definition, you will get more clarity. Every level is having their one. Review 10. Coding means coding having refactoring, checking the format, coding standards, everything inspected. And you also have end user document, which explains about the requirement, some documentation. Testing have different level of testing based on the project. Platform testing, language testing, and all. It is not everywhere. This is just an example. Sometimes database testing will come. Sometimes UAT will come. So UAT here they are making it as separately. Defects, all the defects are closed. UAT done, then we'll go for the production. So that's how more important things we have discussed. Now estimation. So many ways are there. Numbering sizing this way, but this is very famous one. T-shirt sizes. Extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, like this. So we will have a cards using that every team member will raise it and tell this story is small. Developer will tell this is large. Then Scrum Master make us to understand this is not large or small, or okay, let's go with the large. Accordingly, the estimation will happen. Or else we have to choose the Fibonacci sequence. You know what is a Fibonacci sequence? If you add, you will get 0 plus 1, 1. There is no 0. 1 plus 2, 3. 2 plus 3, 5. 5 plus 3, 8. So you have to give weightage in this number only. Numbering sizing, sometimes they will follow, but whichever the project I worked, we followed the t-shirt sizing. So let's see agile sizing. Any good diagram is there or not? 1 minute. Then the last topic, we will move it. That's very easy only. Other than agile, Scrum user story. This one. See here, like this, we can do it. So the 1 to 3, I will say how many hours? Simple, medium, small, medium, large, Excel. So based on the product backlog, small. So what and all it will have project estimation. This is how it will happen. Any other better diagram? I think this one is good. Yeah. Actually, we have completed the agile. Now 12 agile principles. Last topic. Let's glance it, then wind up this session. Don't take more than 10 to 15 minutes. So I said no, like 16 to 15 guys around the world, they joined for a meeting and they came up with this agile principles. Everyone should follow. Welcome the changes. For this is the first thing. That is, any change to the requirement, we should happily welcome it. So welcome changes to the requirement even late in project. Agile process harness the change for the customer's competitive advantage. Welcome changes. Delivery value faster. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customers through the early and continuously deliver the valuable software every 3 weeks, 4 weeks once. Frequent delivery. Delivery working software frequent. That is what. Working should be able couple of weeks, couple of months to preference of shorter life cycle. This one continue this almost we are giving early plus working software as in like 3 weeks once, like that. Work together daily. Again, we work as a business people, developers must work together daily throughout the project. Actually, agile means everyone should be in the same place, but due to the COVID, due to the location concern, Nowadays, it is unable to happen it properly. I heard that the development is happening as per the agile, but testing is happening as per the V model, waterfall model in some of the organization. Okay, build a project around motivated individuals. Give them environment and support they need. Trust them to get the job done. So you have to trust your team member, make them comfort and make things properly. Face-to-face conversation. This is what I'm saying. This is actually face-to-face is always better. Most efficient and effective method of conveying information to within a development team to face-to-face conversation. Sometimes if you have seen in coffee day in India, some team will be working together entire day. This will happen. Sometimes Scrum Master, what they will do, working here, it's very quite boring. Why can't we go to some place? They will take to cafeteria, some other place. So new environment, much more productivity like that and all will happen in many companies. In on-site, they will take you to some laundry where it will be much better to work there. So such independent way of working is also there. Working software is key. That is, you're delivering the working product, right? That is the actually key. Primary measures of progress, not requirement, not model, not design. What you are saying is not important. The most important is it working or not? Okay, I got some. Yeah, sure. Sir, please upload some more interview. Yeah. Yes. Actually, creating one short videos takes more time than 15 minutes video, but very soon I will come up with interview questions for everything. Maybe in few weeks. Surely I'll do it. Lihita. Okay. Now attention to technical excellence. Continuous attention to technical excellence, good design enhancements, agility. So you're working on techie stuff, front end, back end. We have to think about it. Even testings also come into the picture. Quality of that. Sustainable development. Promote sustainable development, sponsors, project team members, users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. It is not someone is so good, you should not put too much to the team. With the team, okay, 3 user story, 4 user story, they are fine, means stick to that. You should not go to that slave mentality. Okay, why can't you go for 5? Why can't you go for 6? At one point of time, team will get threshold to that, then it will backfire you. So this is very important. Who will take care? Scrum Master should be able to understand. Self-organizing team. The best architecture requirement design emerge from self-organizing team. So everyone should be able to understand their roles and responsibility and work accordingly. Reflect and adjust. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjust behave accordingly. Sometimes I will work, okay, I understood the development is quite complex because sitting near to me and doing it. Usually we will make fun. It is working in your system, not in my system, right? Now the developer will show in laptop. See here, it is not working. So we will understand some problems happening in the deployment. So accordingly, now my process of viewing or communicating with the person itself will change perspective. So I will adjust. Okay, development is very important. Same will the dev guys will. I know some of the team members who sat with testing team, completed the regression testing and went. Such good things also will happen. Simplicity, that of maximizing the amount of work not done essential. So that is what art of maximizing the amount of work not done essential. So as easy as possible, don't complicate the things. Guru 99, Java T point, tutorials point. So many websites I have referred to create this agile slides. So actually I'm done. So actually many things we can learn, but in this 2 hours, what is important for the interview only, I can make you guys to understand, okay, this is how you'll work in the agile project. But still go and check many blogs, go and deep dive into every part, even more depth, what additional things you'll do it here, sprint planning. So first you should know where you stand. Are you a product owner, want to be a product owner? Or you are in the Scrum Master experience? Are you going to be a Scrum team member? You know that based on your experience. Then based on that, prepare for interview. Whatever I said today, it is more than enough for you to go and make everyone to believe that you worked in the Scrum project, no doubt on it. But interview point of view, I said no, I may not know all the stuff about manual testing, but you will know well aware about it. So what, as a manual tester, what are all the additional things you will do it in the Scrum that you have to go and do it. As an automation, I already said what I will do in this in sprint automation, in -1 automation and all. But based on your rules, you try to understand this, deep dive into more interview questions. I'll try to find interview questions and come up with as requested. I'll make in short videos very soon on every process. Maybe in 2 to 3 weeks, I'll do it rather than slides. And with face-to-face interview questions, I will post it. Okay, team. Before I wind up this call, all clear team. Let me first stop. Let me check with this YouTube team, then we will have a discussion with Zoom team. A lot of them joined in Zoom. All good team. So any queries is, I think once I stop streaming this video, comment, you can go and put your queries as. I can always ready to help you team as much as I can. So okay. Okay, team. Good night, team. Tomorrow we will see Jira. Don't miss that class. It's very, 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 very important one. Okay, I'm just stopping the streaming. 1 minute. Going to stop the streaming. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, ending the streaming. Good night, team. We'll see tomorrow.